The hour, I brought you my take on the federal school lunch program. Another example of the government basically telling us what to do and what to eat. Joining us now, nationally syndicated talk show host Leslie Marshall. All right, I don't know whether you heard what I got to say or not, but look, this is top-down. Government says do this, do this, do this. A 4,700-page rule book on what you can serve to kids in schools, what you can't serve, and it's just not working. It's inedible food, and the kids are leaving the program. I say this is a typical example of the way government works. It doesn't work. You say what?
Well, I say let's look at the report. First of all, there were no recommendations made. Second of all, it's the mom of a 7- and 8-year-old telling kids, hey, you know what, Stuart, when years ago when I would stop by McDonald's, I loved those fries with trans fat and extra salt. But now that you've taken it out, it doesn't taste as good. When you have healthier food or healthier food options for many children that aren't being served the proper amount of fruits and vegetables in the home, they're not going to like it. But let's look further. A lot of the schools, the majority of kids that have pulled out are not in the inner city. They're in the suburbs, and there are a couple of things there. One, they have other alternatives. They're allowed to have school lunch off campus or bring their lunches to school. And two, these are largely Republican districts.
Well,
can you imagine that, Stuart?
Look, the point here is that you've got top-down government micromanaging what kids eat for school lunches. And it's absolutely not working. Why don't you people on the left learn the lesson? Top-down government, micromanagement by a massive government bureaucracy does not work, does it?
I don't agree with you, Stuart, and I think that we as a nation, the government and those of us who vote for our government officials, have a responsibility when we look at the heart disease rate, when we look at the obesity rate, when we look at what happens to our children and what will happen to our children if we don't take control of the amount of sugar they're taking in, the amount of sodium, the amount of fat. And it may not taste as good right now, and the program may not look as successful, but I think in the long run, it is in the best interest of the American people, which these children are people and will be adults in the future, to stick with it. Yeah.
You'll stick with it. You'll spend $16 billion a year. The kids will walk away. Half the food that's served will end up in pig farms, and you'll stick with it because that's the way we should eat in our schools. You'll stick with it?
I'll stick with it, and the reason I'll stick with it is because it may not taste as good, and that they can improve upon and should. However, if my kid's going to live longer and it tastes yucky, sign me up.
Okay, we hear you, Leslie, but I wish the left would take some lessons from the right on how to do things and let us preserve our freedom. I mean, that would be so good. Leslie Marshall, however, we do thank you very much for joining us. See you soon.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. Thank you.